People there. We're gonna be called the Fedorans, y'all. I'm gonna make a whole poem and book over that, y'all. Give it up to the Fedorans! Power to the Fedoran people! Take that, white man!
Just to correct the record here. That hat was a fedora, and our friend here is wearing a stingy brim pork hat.
Goes like crop of scramble.
Break my heart, fears make my sense of self.
Thank y'all for sticking around. First, she received a BFA from Tisch Schools of the Arts, that's NYU, and she works for Tablet. She is a Tablets magazine contributor. She has 2 critically acclaimed memoirs, Everything is Going to Be Great, which is right here. She has with her today, and have you no shame? Her work has been featured in many publications and anthologies, including Nerve, Gawker, Click, When We Knew We Were Feminists, and Best American Erotic Poetry from 1800 to the present. Nice. She has also been part of several plays. She has co-created, co-wrote, and co-starred in Wasp Cove, which was a soap opera in the 1980s, and she is currently developing her first featured film with Yarn Films in Los Angeles. Nice. See, we're from the Bronx, right? When someone does something really nice, yo, and that you wish you could do, you say, yo, I want to punch them in the face. So I just read her biography, and I'm like, yo, I want to punch her in the face. But it's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. Us people in the Bronx, we like that. It's a good thing. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage, Rachel Shukert. Give it up for Rachel, yeah. She's giving me the evil eye.
That was an interestingly edited bio. Hi, I'm Rachel. Thanks for sticking around. It's kind of past my bedtime, and I hope I can see. So I'm not a poet. I'm a memoirist, which means that I don't love people. I sort of just view the world through an air of sardonic detachment. I'm going to read a little bit from my new book. It came out a couple months ago from HarperCollins. It's called Everything is Going to Be Great. I have some for sale there. It's a memoir of the time that I spent living in Europe after college. I spent about 2 years there, and a lot of terrible things happened, and a lot of wonderful things happened, and it was a strange time. So what I'm going to read, I'm actually going to read something from the very beginning, which is a little bit of a preface. It's sort of when I was in Europe before I sort of moved for the time that's the bulk of the book. And I'm just going to start. It was the summer before my junior year of college. I was one of 16 NYU acting students deemed promising enough for participation in an 8-week experimental theater intensive in Amsterdam. Each morning we wrapped ourselves in loose, shapeless clothing, oversized t-shirts and soft trousers, the sort of pants an infant might wear, and noisily mounted our second-hand bicycles for the chilly ride to class, garnering curious stares from the lanky Dutchmen on their way to work. Throughout the day we lay in darkened studios, contorting our bodies into unseemly shapes. We thrust our hindquarters into the air and tried to feel the workings of our kidneys. We let out feral wordless cries to symbolize rage and bellowed strings of rapid gibberish to approximate joy. We thought we were geniuses. When our first free weekend arrived, we were eager to reward ourselves for our hard work. A large group had decided to visit a mountain town in the Swiss Alps, where in exchange for money one could jump out of an airplane. I thought this sounded like fun until it dawned on me that the jumping would occur while the airplane was actually in the air, and then I realized that everyone around me was out of their fucking mind. I would no sooner jump willingly out of a plane than insert shards of broken glass into my anus. The world was already fraught with danger. Why ask for more trouble? Dude, I can't wait for that shit. An enormous wave of curling smoke drifted out of Jason Barnsdorf's mouth and over the bong, like a sheet of clouds around the roof of a lighthouse. To be in the sky like that, like some kind of fucking immortal man. Like a god. Todd Beckerman pumped his arms in the air and bent backwards at the waist, displaying the flexibility newly honed in our daily Ashtanga class. He had already removed his pants for the night, but at the hem of his jockey shorts I could plainly see one of his testicles straining dangerously against its taut wrapping of hairy flesh. Like a Greek fucking god. 4 feet 11 inches tall and bedecked in Tiffany hearts and chains and knots that I assumed had been draped ritualistically on her person at the time of her bat mitzvah, Stacy Seligman hailed from Great Neck, New York, a place I had never visited but believed to be peopled with those who felt the same way I did about voluntarily plummeting to one's death in some godforsaken corner of Switzerland. Fuck that, said Stacy delicately, surveying our companions with a look of practiced disdain. I want to stay in a nice hotel and go shopping. I want to wear pants with a zipper and feel like a human being again. I said, I just don't want to die. And so 2 interminable days later, Stacy Seligman's Louis Vuitton classic monogram carryall, and I arrived at the Gare du Nord in Paris. Our heavily discounted train tickets had taken us on a circuitous route, I'm so tired, including several uninteresting and unannounced stops in rural Belgium. And by the time we arrived, we were dirty, tired, and cranky, just like real Parisians. It was July 14th, exactly 211 years to the day since a mob of revolutionaries had stormed the fortress of the Bastille. As I watched Stacy's kinky blonde ponytail bob determinedly before me, I thought then, as now, France might never be the same. We took a taxi to our hotel to drop off our things and wandered over to the Place Vendôme. The statue of Napoleon on the top of the famous bronze column glittered softly in the midday sun as men in gray jumpsuits were setting up long tables along the street. On the table sat plump bottles of red wine, spaced in clusters every few feet. 2 of the men careened past us carrying an enormous bench, and Stacy jumped out of the way to avoid being knocked to the ground. It's Bastille Day, I said, sweeping my hands awkwardly in the air. It's today, le 14 juillet. I was here for it before when I was in high school. The summer between my sophomore and junior years of high school, I'd spent several weeks in a small village in the southwest of France as part of an exchange program. I'd signed up with 3 clearly defined goals in mind. 1, to learn to speak perfect French. 2, to shed my last stubborn pounds of pubescent baby fat. And 3, to finally experience the love of a man. That is, the kind of love that can be shown with a penis. My abject failure to achieve any of these at the time was in large part the motivation for my decision to take the summer semester abroad. I wanted another chance to do things right. Stacy pursed her small mouth thoughtfully. It's like the French 4th of July, right? I nodded. It's a lot the same. There are fireworks and picnics, things like that, and parades. There's a big parade down the Champs-Élysées. Like Macy's, cartoon floats and things? No, it's an army parade and very solemn. Christian Lacroix designs all the uniforms of the French military, I remembered suddenly. It's all very gay and ornate. Stacy Seligman narrowed her eyes. My cousin Jonathan went to join the Israeli army after he graduated from high school. Now he's super religious and he won't talk to his parents. His wife wears a wig and they already have like 13 kids, and my aunt and uncle have never met any of them. My mother says it's a cult. Do you think they'll hang out in the streets tonight? She continued, like for a block party or something? Is that what these tables are for? I eyed one of the men in the gray jumpsuits who stood scowling at the far end of the nearest table as he smoothed the creases from the tablecloth, a cigarette dangling out of the corner of his mouth. I'll find out. Americans love to moan about the rudeness of the French, but I found that any effort to communicate with them in their native tongue, no matter how poor or grammatically ludicrous, eases one's weight considerably. It allows the French to change their attitude toward you from revulsion to pity, and it's hard to be truly hostile to someone you feel genuinely sorry for. You might, for example, be annoyed with an ill-mannered child in a fancy restaurant, but when you realize the child is severely retarded, that changes things. If you want to get anywhere with the French, you have to become that retarded child. After a few dribbling starts, the man grudgingly informed me that there would be a celebration in the streets that night. The tables were set up for people to come with picnic suppers to watch the fireworks. The tables, like the wine, were provided by the government. Stacy was somewhat less impressed by the idea of government wine than I was. Really? I thought we were going to have dinner at that Japanese restaurant we saw in the guidebook. We can get sashimi in New York, I cried. We're in Paris. Where's your sense of adventure? I don't speak French. Don't worry, I said. I'll take care of everything. Sometimes I have dreams in which I become extraordinary, capable of extraordinary things. I dream I am a professional ballet dancer, or an Olympic gymnast, or a male-to-female transsexual married to Joe Biden.